How Chumlee became the richest star on Pawn Stars. You walk into a pawn shop. Gold chains hang in dusty cases. Old guitars lean against scratched walls. And behind the counter stands a guy in a baggy t-shirt, grinning like he just heard the world's greatest joke. Most people would never guess. He's sitting on millions, but that's exactly what happened to Austin Lee Russell, better known as Chumlee. The guy everyone thought was just comic relief on Pawn Stars, the one they laughed at, the one they underestimated. And while the world was busy making memes about him, Chumlee was quietly becoming the richest person on the show. This is that story. Let's go back to the beginning. Because Chumlee's story doesn't start with fame or fortune. It starts in a modest neighborhood in Henderson, Nevada, where a chubby kid with a goofy smile was just trying to fit in. Austin Russell was born on September 8, 1982. His dad worked hard. His mom kept the family together. And young Austin, he was the kind of kid who made everyone laugh, even when he wasn't trying. Especially when he wasn't trying. When he was about 12 years old, his father died. Just like that. Gone. Imagine being a kid and losing the person who's supposed to teach you how to be a man. The person who's supposed to show you the ropes. It shattered him. It changed him. And in some ways, it made him grow up faster than he should have. But Austin had something most kids didn't have. He had Corey Harrison. Corey, the son of Rick Harrison, who would later become one of the stars of Pawn Stars. Corey and Austin met when they were kids. They became best friends. The kind of friends who have each other's backs no matter what. And when Austin needed a place to belong after his father's death, Corey's family welcomed him in. Rick Harrison, Corey's dad, ran the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. It was a family business. Gritty, real, the kind of place where people brought in everything from ancient coins to broken dreams, hoping to walk out with cash. And when Austin was just 21 years old, Rick gave him a job. It wasn't glamorous. He wasn't appraising rare artifacts or negotiating six-figure deals. He was working behind the counter, learning the ropes, testing items, dealing with customers who were sometimes desperate, sometimes angry, sometimes just plain weird. But Austin showed up every day. He worked, he learned. And slowly, he became part of the gold and silver family. Still, nobody could have predicted what was about to happen next. The year was 2009. Reality TV was exploding. Shows about everything from storage auctions to swamp people were dominating cable. And the History Channel had an idea. What if they made a show about a pawn shop? Not just any pawn shop. The Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas, where rare treasures and bizarre items walked through the door every single day. Where colorful characters haggled over prices. Where history came alive in the form of old guns, vintage toys, and forgotten relics. Rick Harrison and his family agreed to do it. The cameras rolled. And Pawn Stars was born. Austin Russell, who by now had earned the nickname Chumlee from his childhood friend Corey, was part of the cast. But here's the thing. He wasn't supposed to be the star. Rick was the brains. The expert. The guy who knew everything. Corey was the ambitious son. Trying to prove himself, the old man, Richard Harrison, was the no-nonsense grandfather with decades of wisdom and a sharp tongue. And Chumlee, he was just the goofy sidekick. The guy who made mistakes. The one who got yelled at for goofing off. The comic relief, but something unexpected happened. People loved him. They loved his innocence, his humor, the way he'd test items in ridiculous ways or say something completely off the wall that made everyone crack up. He wasn't trying to be perfect. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was just being himself. And in a world full of polished, scripted TV personalities, that authenticity was magnetic. Pawn Stars became a massive hit, like one of the biggest shows on cable. Millions of people tuned in every week to watch the Harrison family wheel and deal. And every time Chumlee appeared on screen, ratings spiked suddenly. Austin Russell wasn't just some guy working at a pawn shop. He was a celebrity. But here's where most people get the story wrong. They think Chumlee just got lucky. That he stumbled into fame and rode the wave without doing anything smart. That he was just a lovable goofball who got paid to show up and make people laugh. They couldn't have been more mistaken. While the cameras were rolling and the world was laughing, Chumlee was paying attention. He was learning, and he was making moves that nobody saw coming. First, he leveraged his fame. He understood something that a lot of reality TV stars don't. Fame is temporary. Attention fades. And if you don't turn that spotlight into something sustainable, you'll end up broke and forgotten. So Chumlee started selling merchandise, t-shirts, hats, novelty items with his face and catchphrases on them. And fans ate it up. They wanted a piece of the Pawn Stars experience. And Chumlee gave it to them. But he didn't stop there. He negotiated his contract. Hard in the early seasons. Chumlee was making about $25,000 per episode. Which sounds like a lot, and it is. But when you're one of the main reasons people are tuning in, when your face is on billboards and your name is trending, you deserve more. So Chumlee pushed. He fought for his value. And by later seasons, he was reportedly making $25,000 per episode. With the show producing hundreds of episodes over the years. Do the math. That's millions of dollars. Just from the show alone. But even that wasn't the end game. Chumlee did something most reality stars never do. He invested. He bought real estate. Multiple properties. In Las Vegas, real estate can be a goldmine if you play it right. And Chumlee played it right. He diversified. He didn't blow his money on cars and chains like so many young celebrities do. He built wealth. He also opened his own business. A candy shop on Las Vegas Boulevard called Chumlee's Candy on the Boulevard. It became a tourist attraction. People visiting Vegas wanted to meet Chumlee, take photos with him, buy quirky candy and merch. It was a genius move. He turned his fame into a brick-and-mortar money machine. Then there were the appearances, the endorsements, the social media deals. Chumlee built a brand around himself. And brands, when done right, print money by the mid-2010s. Chumlee wasn't just doing well. He was wealthy. Like really wealthy. Estimates put his net worth somewhere between $5 and $10 million. Some reports suggested it could be even higher. And here's the kicker. He was making more money than Rick, more than Corey, more than anyone else on the show. The guy everyone thought was just the lovable dummy had become the richest person on Pawn Stars. But success never comes without shadows. In March 2016, Chumlee's world came crashing down. Police raided his Las Vegas home. They were investigating a sexual assault allegation. And while Chumlee was never charged with that crime, what they found in his house became a nightmare. Guns, lots of them, some of which he wasn't legally allowed to own due to previous issues. And drugs, methamphetamine, marijuana in amounts that suggested more than personal use. The news exploded. Headlines screamed. The internet had a field day. The lovable Chumlee was suddenly a criminal. A cautionary tale. Another celebrity who had it all and threw it away. He was arrested, charged with multiple felonies, including weapon possession and drug possession. For months, his future hung in the balance. Prison was a real possibility. His career seemed over. His reputation was destroyed. But then something remarkable happened. Chumlee took responsibility. He didn't make excuses. He didn't blame anyone else. He pleaded guilty to lesser charges, entered a plea deal, and committed to turning his life around. He went to counseling. He got clean. He focused on his mental health. And slowly, he started rebuilding. The legal case was resolved. He avoided prison. And while the scandal left scars, it also showed something important about Chumlee's character. He wasn't perfect. He made mistakes, but he owned them, and he did the work to become better. Pawn Stars continued, and so did Chumlee. When he returned to the show, fans welcomed him back. Not because they forgot what happened, but because they saw someone who stumbled, fell, and got back up. Someone real. Someone human, and Chumlee kept building. He kept investing. He kept growing his brand. He embraced fitness. Lost a ton of weight. Showed the world that he was serious about his health and his future. He stayed active on social media, connecting with fans, promoting his businesses, and staying relevant in an industry where relevance is everything. And through it all, he remained humble, grateful. The same goofy guy who walked into the gold and silver pawn shop as a 21-year-old kid, just trying to make a living. So how did Chumlee become the richest person on Pawn Stars? It wasn't luck. It wasn't an accident. It was strategy, hustle, and an understanding that fame is a tool, not a destination. While others might have coasted on their TV salaries, Chumlee built an empire. He diversified. He invested. He created multiple streams of income. And when life knocked him down, he got back up and kept going. Today, Chumlee's net worth dwarfs his co-stars. He's living proof that you don't have to be the smartest person in the room to win. You just have to be willing to learn, adapt, and work harder than everyone else thinks you're capable of. The guy they laughed at became the guy they couldn't touch. And maybe that's the most beautiful part of this story. Chumlee never tried to be someone he wasn't. He never pretended to be the expert or the boss. He was just himself, goofy, genuine, real, and in the end, that authenticity made him a fortune. Think about that the next time you underestimate someone. The next time you judge a book by its cover. Because the person you're laughing at today might just be building an empire you'll never see coming. Chumlee did exactly that, and he's still smiling. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe to Luminoir for more deep dives into the lives of the people who changed the game. Drop a comment and let me know who you want us to cover next.